In this video I'm going to show you how to use Google Earth and Google SketchUp. So this is something I've been doing in my Year 12s and I've sort of developed some skills here. I think they are pretty easy to do. Now the first thing you need to do is, if you want to find the area of something, go get a picture on Google Earth. So all I've done here is I've just sort of gone to Google Earth and found my image. I just want to work out the surface area of this lake. Alright, so first thing you need to do though, to do this particular question, you need to have some sort of idea of a scale. So you need to find a reference point on the actual lake. So if I use, let's say this thing over here, let's go across the lake. So if I measure from that point there to that point there, I can see a mark. Alright, so I know that distance there is in fact 138.262 meters. Alright, so simply just escape from there now, close that. So keep that in mind, that's where I'm going to measure. The first thing you need to do is you need to save this particular JPEG. Alright, so I'll say this is lake, and I'll just save that on my desktop. Alright, so that's my image, that's been saved. Now you don't have to close it, just go to the next program. So open up your Google SketchUp. Right, you can choose your templates now, depending on what you're doing. Because we're doing math stuff, I think actually working in meters is probably easiest for kids. So if we start Google SketchUp, you'll get the screen. You might have a person there. Sometimes when you have your screen open, if you have that person, just delete them. Now what we want to do is import a video into there. So if I go to my desktop, and I can come down and find my video, my picture called lake, and I'll just click it somewhere there. Alright, so click and drag. Now in terms of my picture now, if I go to my camera view, I can change the view there. So I'm going to go camera view, go to top, and I can see that. Now clicking on your hand over here allows you to move that where you like, and I can then right scroll on my mouse, and I can make this picture, fair portion of the screen. Alright, so that's my first thing I want to do there. Now the first thing you've got to do is resize this particular picture to the scale, because it hasn't really got a scale, it's just taking this as a picture. So what I need to do is click on my my pen, or you can type in L. So I'm going to go from that point there across to that point over here. Alright, so and escape from there, and if I measure that particular distance across there, the bottom scale down here, sorry, I'll go back and show you again. So the bottom screen, bottom right hand corner, you can see that distance is 5.66 meters. Now we actually know that that distance there is 138.62 meters. So if I just type in 138.62 m for meters, enter, it will ask me if I want to resize my model, and I have to say yes, I do want to resize my model. Now if I click up there, it will actually bring me back to my model size. Now if I go to my line there and now measure across my line now, you can see it's the right distance. Okay, so that's how you actually scale a model into Google SketchUp. Now I'm going to delete that line. The first thing that you want to do, if you're working on this particular model, you want to be able to see what you're actually doing here. Alright, so if you go into styles, there's a whole heap of things that you can choose from. But I found just the simplest one is the straight lines, and you can select the size, but I think about 3 pixels probably not bad size there. So that's pretty good. And then what you want to do is you want to edit. If you just drag that down a bit, if you click on the box there, if you click on that, you can get all the different colors there. You click right at the top there. Alright, so click on there, see how you get your yellow or mustard sort of color. So I can make sure I get whatever colour I want there. Once I'm happy with that, click on there, OK. And now when you start drawing lines in that, you'll find that they will be, you'll be able to actually see them on the model. Alright, so let's say I'm doing a some sort of survey and I want to break this up into some different shapes. Alright, so simply all I need to do is just draw a line somewhere in there. Alright, so here's a little task that you can do. Alright, so if I have that there, what I can do is I can divide this particular line into segments. Alright, so by simply going to my right click over here, highlight the particular line, and I can divide that into segments. Okay, so if I see how I'm moving my thing along there, it's telling me I've got 8 or 9 segments. Just to make it really easy, I'm just going to do 6 segments today. Alright, so now the first thing you might want to do is you might want to draw lines that are at right angles to this. Alright, so I can click on my line, my point, click on my line and then drag that around. Notice down the bottom right hand corner it goes to 90. So I go and I just click there. Now I've got a line. If I press L for line, I can now draw a line at the edge of my particular thing, and then that goes there. Alright, so that's a line that length. Escape. Alright, go cut my protractor, drag along the line here on the edge. Now I'm at my endpoint, click on the endpoint, click on the line, drag it around, and it will snap to 90 degrees, or I can just type in 90 there. I'll do the next one over here, endpoint, drag. Well, it's really simple to break this into segments. So I'll do all my protractor work first. Right, so drag the line, drag it around. Okay, now press L for line, and you can simply just draw all those things up there. Right, so if you want to just get between things, press escape, and that will actually allow you to not have that line connected. Right, so just quickly draw your lines here. So I'm doing it what they call a Simpsons or trapezoidal method. Okay, so we're just making this into a series of trapezoids, and then that will give us the area of this particular shape. Something we do in year 12. Now obviously when you're working with your kids in different year levels, they might be doing something slightly different from that. Where's the one there? There it is. Okay, and then dragging up to the edge of the thing. Escape there. Right, so what I've done is a series of lines. The next thing that you need to be able to do is try and measure what they are. So I can measure those lines really quickly. It tells me down that's 40 metres, that distance there. That distance over here is 77 metres. Got that it? So it's pretty simple to do. Right. Now, what I'd like to be able to do, I'm just going to delete these guidelines because they look ugly. Right. It doesn't look like don't want people to see those. Now I can measure these lines. Now, if I actually go to measure a line, and the thing that we're using is quite a good tool, is this one here. Okay, so you click on that button over there. If I go here and I can double click on that line, you'll see a particular thing there. Now I can just click and drag that off the line. You can see that I've actually done something there. Now I can do the same thing over here with this measurement. Double click on it, and then I can drag that off the line there, and you've got your measurement. Now the problem here is you can't see that. Well, it's really hard to see that, so it's easy to actually identify that. So what you have to do is click on the actual thing there, right click, entry info. Alright, so you can change the colour there, so by editing. Again, the same process, go to your colour wheel. Going a bit slow this morning. So clicking on there, OK, and OK. And then you can also change the font as well and make it a bit bigger if you want to. So I quite like using Times Roman, most things. So just scroll down to there, and I can make it a little bit bigger as well. And I can change the bold or italic. Right. And see what that looks like. Right, so just makes it stand out a bit better. You get that distance there. Now the problem is, I'm only measuring half of that. So if you want to measure the whole line, you need to delete this line in the middle here. So that's what I'll show you now to do. So if you want to get rid of that, just highlight it and just press delete, highlight it and delete. And now I can just go to my razor and I can just click on these lines here. I'll get rid of them. Right, so now what I can do, if I go to my measuring tool, and then drag that off the line, right, and I can do the same thing over here. It has to go to a blue, solid blue before you do that. Double click, you can drag that off the line. Alright, make sure it goes highlighted. Right, and you can do all those measurements. Alright, so that's pretty easy. Remembering to edit what it looks like, you need to go to your pointer over here. You have to actually be on pointing at the thing. So on my pointer, right click now, and then you can change the colour of the font, and you can change the size of that so you can see it, and you can change the font as well. Right, so that doesn't look that good, but you can get the idea what you've got to do there. Now the other thing you might want to do is you might want to make this into a sort of a shape where you can see what the area is roughly. So if you go to your line tool, you can connect these things, and notice they snap to the endpoints. Right, so I'll just click on the endpoints. So when I fill up a shape like that, you get an area, which is really cool. Right, so I can just undo, made a mistake. Right, so this always snaps to the endpoint, click. So as I go around, I will be filling in the shapes, and they will go to a white colour. Alright. Now when you get that white colour, it's you can actually hide that if you want to, but that's probably a good way of representing the area of that shape. If I go to here, if I right click on that, I can just click on the area of that selection. It will tell me what the area of that section is. Okay, so you can actually say the area of that, which is pretty cool, I think, in terms of looking at that sort of shape. Right, so the other way of doing something on here, and let's say this is a little area that we want to find the area of. If I just use my line tool, I can just go wherever I like. I can estimate what it is. Right, so the kids can sort of quickly get an estimate of that area. So again, because it's a nice polygon solid, right click on there, and now I've got my area selection in that particular area, which I think is a really cool feature of this program. Allows the kids to do, make some shapes, and then also allows them to use technology to get a quite accurate way of measuring that particular distance and finding out whether their calculations are correct. So these are just a couple of simple tools that we're using in Google SketchUp. The key idea is to take your picture in from Google Earth. Right, it needs to be Google Earth so you know what the distance is, so you've got a scale diagram. And the main features we've been looking at today is using our line tool, using our protractor, and using our measuring tape, which are really important features, keeping in mind that we also need to be able to see this on our diagram. Now, the next thing you could do for this sort of program, now the only way I've actually learned how to do this is do a print screen, and then you can take that into a Word document, and you can paste that into a Word document, and then obviously you can crop that. So if we crop that, now it doesn't matter, the fact that it's we haven't got a scale in there, because this is a scale diagram. Alright, no matter what we're doing, we've already done a scale diagram, because all of these things are measured to the right thing. Now the secret here, if you want to incorporate this in a project, you must only drag on the bottom corner, so you keep your your dimensions right, so your X and Y dimensions are staying the same. So that is a scale diagram. Now if the kids wanted to work out exactly what that scale is, they can measure that line there. They know that it's that distance, and they can say, well, this is the scale at maybe 190 to 1. Right, so hope this helps. I think it's a really great program to get kids to use. Once they get the idea, it's really quick, it saves you a lot of time, and certainly the kids can then think about the mathematics rather than just doing the process. If you need any help, I'm certainly at school and happy to go through this with you at any time, so catch up with me and good luck.